This is BBC Radio Kent.
The family of a 9-year-old Kent boy left brain damaged after out-of-hours doctors failed to diagnose meningitis have received a £15 million compensation package. Jacob Stratton from Folkestone was just 6 weeks old when he contracted the disease, but his parents were told to give him Calpol and keep him home. Jacob's now 9 years old and will require lifelong care for the severe disabilities he's suffered. Our reporter Ian Palmer has been to meet Jacob's parents, David and Mandy Stratton.
6.5 weeks old, Jacob Stratton had a high temperature and was displaying erratic physical movements. His parents sought medical advice not once, but twice. Without examining him, both doctors said he would get better. Unfortunately, Jacob had pneumococcal meningitis, a life-threatening condition.
So we'd spoken to 2 doctors at that point. We were obviously concerned about Jacob. But yeah, we'd spoken to 2 doctors, so what more could we do?
What happened after that?
We took Jacob home and spent the rest of the day just cuddling him, trying to get him to feed.
After failing to respond to paracetamol at home, Jacob's parents took him to the William Harvey Hospital in Ashford, where his condition was diagnosed. He was later transferred to a hospital in London, where he spent 4 weeks on a life support machine. He survived. Jacob has a damaged brain and cannot walk or talk.
He's overcoming some of these challenges. He's learning to talk with an eye gaze device. He's got bits of equipment to help him become upright and attempt to walk. And as I said, he's a bit of a charmer.
After a legal battle that lasted nearly 10 years, the Strattons have been awarded £15 million to ensure Jacob's future care.
Jacob wears nappies. He will always wear nappies. And an example of the challenges is changing him when we're out and about.
The Strattons say they don't want another family to go through what they've experienced.
On the line now is Nick Fairweather, the family's solicitor. So how unusual a ruling is this?
Well, it's a settlement that the parties have reached that the High Court has approved on behalf of Jacob because he's a minor and is someone without capacity. So it's an approval of a settlement reached between the parties. Thankfully, mistakes of this kind and magnitude are unusual, far from routine, but of course the consequences are so devastating for patients like Jacob and their families when these mistakes do occur.
And so to your mind, what went wrong?
Well, there was a failure to follow quite basic procedure, really. I mean, guidelines at the time were quite clear in saying that if you have a baby under 12 months of age with a suspected high temperature, then that baby should be seen and assessed, and what would have happened leading on from that would have been an admission to hospital and the administration of antibiotics at a very early stage of the disease cascading forth, as it were. But unfortunately, because those basic procedures weren't followed, Jacob was sent home and the meningitis progressed and has left him with the severe problems he has today.
And we heard a bit from them a moment ago, but how did the family react to the news that they were getting this compensation?
Well, it's been a very long and hard struggle, as litigation of this kind often is. So, of course, there's a sense for David and Mandy of huge relief of that horrible American word closure, but I think it does apply here, and of being able to move on with their lives beyond having to adjust to becoming parents of a severely disabled child. Parents in their situations then have to wage legal battles which last often many, many years and are very keenly contested. So it's a very welcome sense of relief, and I think looking to the future and looking to the enablement that this money will provide for Jacob, it will allow him to do all manner of things that without the money would be out of his reach. So there's a sense, I think, of excitement moving forward with Jacob now and realising all the fullness of his potential.
Nick Fairweather, the family solicitor, thank you very much for joining me.